Chapter 15. New Beginnings. Sera stared at her phone screen, thumb hovering over the post button. The selfie showed her and Vic making heart signs at the camera, their first public display of affection, marking the beginning of their relationship. "Are you sure about this?" Vic asked, his voice soft as he peered over her shoulder. Sera bit her lip. "What if they hate me? Your fans are so devoted." Vic dramatically clutched his chest. "My lady doubts the power of our love story. This is the part where the main characters face their fears together." Sera could not help but laugh. "You've been watching too many dramas." "And you haven't watched enough," he retorted with a playful wink. In episode 12, the reluctant girlfriend always realizes that true love conquers all. One by one, the C7 couples went public. Jake and Tina released a black and white photo of their intertwined hands. Silas and Meyer changed their profile pictures to match cartoon avatars wearing headphones. Julian and Hope posted a video of themselves dancing with rainbow-colored shadows. John officially updated his relationship status with Saul, with a 10-photo carousel of their friend dates that fooled exactly no one. And on Muse's account, a single cryptic message appeared: "The heart has its reasons. #It's complicated." Breaking news: the biggest dating scandal revealed. The headline flashed across every entertainment news outlet in Seoul. Outside C7's company building, reporters swarmed like bees to honey, microphones extended and cameras flashing. Director Blake strode through the crowd, sunglasses firmly in place, ignoring questions with indifference, until one reporter yelled, "Is this a publicity stunt?" He stopped and dramatically removed his sunglasses. "Love," he announced with theatrical gravity, "is never a publicity stunt." Then he continued walking, as his assistants frantically tried to keep up. In the C7 practice room, Jake and Tina were putting the last touches on their duet performance. "More emotion in the bridge," choreographer Margaret demanded, clapping her hands. "This is supposed to be your love story." Jake groaned. "We've been at this for 6 hours. And we'll be at it for 6 more if necessary," Tina replied, determination etched on her face. "This has to be perfect." The choreography required them to dance around each other, maintaining at least one point of contact, such as hands, shoulders, or backs, at all times. This symbolized their constant connection despite the obstacles. "From the top," Margaret shouted. As the music started again, they moved in perfect synchronicity, telling the story of their relationship without words: the initial attraction, the secret meetings, the strain of hiding, and finally, the liberation of truth. When they finished the final run-through, even Margaret was wiping away tears. "Now that," she said, "will break the internet." Meanwhile, in a sound studio across town, Silas nervously watched Meyer record the final vocals for their collaborative track. "I still think the lyrics are too obvious," he whispered to the sound engineer. "That's the point," the engineer replied, adjusting levels. "Subtle doesn't go viral." When Meyer emerged from the booth, she gave Silas a thumbs up. "Ready to preview it?" The song, a blend of C7's signature pop sound and a new wave beat, played through the speakers. The chorus, with its clever wordplay about stellar crowns and 7 stars aligning, made Silas blush furiously. "The fans will decode this in approximately 3 seconds, he muttered. Meyer grinned. "That's what makes it fun." At the Seoul Children's Center, Julian and Hope were surrounded by enthusiastic children aged 5 to 10. "Today we're learning about coordination and partnership," Hope explained, her teaching voice carrying across the room. "Dancing isn't just about moving your body, it's about communication." Julian nodded, seriously. "Even without words, you can tell a whole story." They demonstrated a simplified version of a traditional Korean dance, modified for children. Their movements complemented each other perfectly. When Julian stepped forward, Hope stepped back, When he raised his arm, she ducked beneath it. "They're like magnets," one little girl whispered loudly. "My mom says they're dating," another child announced matter-of-factly. Julian and Hope exchanged glances and burst into laughter. "And what do you think about that?" Julian asked the children. "I think," a solemn-faced boy declared, "you should teach us the spinning part again." The child's simple response reminded them why they had started this program. Some connections transcended the realm of celebrity gossip. Under the same Seoul sky, Sera was facing her first dating experience in the spotlight. Leaving the cafe with Vic, they were immediately surrounded by fans and photographers. "Vic, is she making you leave C7? Sera? Did you target him for his fame?" Vic instinctively pulled Sera behind him, his expression darkening. But Sera gently moved to stand beside him instead. "Honestly," she said with surprising steadiness, "we bonded over our love of our pets, historical documentaries, and spicy ramen at 2 a.m. Not very scandalous, I'm afraid." Her response momentarily stunned the crowd into silence. Vic beamed at her with pride, then added in his most dramatic baritone, "And her family's dumpling recipe sealed my fate forever." The crowd's laughter broke the tension, and as they walked away hand in hand, Sera whispered, "Maybe I can do this after all." "Never doubted you for a second," Vic replied, squeezing her hand. After hours, in Muse's kindergarten classroom, James hung colorful paper stars from the ceiling. Each star contained a truth about himself, not the idle version but the honest James. "My real name is James. I'm afraid of thunderstorms. I failed 3 math tests in high school. I practice my cute faces in the mirror." When Muse entered the room, she stopped short at the galaxy of confessions above her head. "What is this?" she asked softly. "No more facades," James said, stepping toward her. "No more hiding. This is me, all the parts I've never shown anyone else." Muse reached out to touch one of the stars. "You collect vintage stamps?" "Embarrassingly extensive collection," he confirmed with a self-deprecating smile. "Started when I was 7. She moved to another star. "You cry during dog food commercials?" "Every time," he admitted. "It's the music they use." Muse's expression softened as she wandered beneath the constellation of truths. "And what about Evan? Where does he fit in with all this?" James took a deep breath. "That's the most complicated star." He pointed to a larger one, hanging in the center. "But if you're willing to read it, I think you'll understand." As Muse reached for the star, the classroom door opened again. "Sorry, I'm late," Evan said, carrying what appeared to be a small potted tree. The bonsai master took forever to explain the care instructions. Muse looked between the two men, confusion on her face. "It's a 3-person stone," Evan explained, setting down the miniature tree. "The bonsai master told me it represents balance and harmony between different elements. 1 tree, 3 trunks, all connected at the roots." "Subtle," James commented dryly. "I thought so," Evan replied with a grin. Muse shook her head, but a smile tugged at her lips. "You two are impossible." "But in a nice way, right?" James asked hopefully. "I'm still reading your stars," she reminded him, but the warmth in her voice gave them hope. Director Blake was addressing the assembled couples. "The media cycle has been intense," he admitted, scrolling through reports on his tablet. "But overall, the public response has been positive. The important thing is that streams are up across both groups." "Our love is profitable," Silas remarked sarcastically. "Everything in this industry is profitable, if handled correctly," Director Blake replied without missing a beat. Then, with sincerity, he added, "But not everything is honest. What you all have, that's rare." The room fell silent as the weight of his words sank in. "Now," he continued briskly, "about your upcoming joint concert. As promised, Jake and Tina's duet performance premiered online that evening. Within hours, it had been viewed 10 million times, with reaction videos, dance covers, and analysis threads flooding social media. Silas and Meyer's track dropped at midnight, immediately climbing digital charts. Julian and Hope's children's dance program was featured on morning television, their chemistry captivating viewers. And photos of Sera confidently holding Vic's hand, despite the paparazzi, became a symbol of standing firm in the face of public scrutiny. As for James, Evan, and Muse, that constellation was still aligning. But under the star-filled night sky of Seoul, new beginnings were unfolding for all of them, one step at a time. For these idols who had spent years crafting perfect public images, the most significant revelation turned out to be the simplest: being themselves, loving openly, and facing the world not as untouchable stars, but as personas with beating hearts.